It's funny that you bring up this kind of utopian future, because let's talk about Ridley Scott for a second. Lots of ideas of his were eventually removed from this movie. But
is he dead yet? Did he die?
No, I think he's still
Oh, no. Tony Scott did. He's his brother. He directed Top Gun, starring, in some role, Tom Skerritt.
Now, hold on. How old is Ridley Scott, though? Ridley Scott.
He's got to be old. He's probably Sir Ridley Scott, too.
He's 83, yeah. He is Sir Ridley. Prick. But, no, I'm kidding. He's an alright guy, I guess. But let's talk about some of his ideas, because we talk about utopian society here. It was either him or one of the people working on this that had the idea that people should just be banging all the time, and that there should be, like, lots of sex in this movie.
That might have... Okay, so this... And I'm going to screw up the names here, because I know there's a couple of writers here, and the guy that wrote the first draft of this script, or maybe even more than one draft, but the guy who came up with this story basically just wrote it to be complete schlock.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's where the banging comes in, because like this is basically originally when it was basically written to be like a Roger Corman B movie. But then rewrites came in, and I think Dan O'Bannon was the one that stepped in and rewrote it. I could be screwing that up. Maybe he was the original writer. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I took a note on it somewhere. I just can't find it at the moment. But I think
Walter
Dan
Hill
O'Bannon
had something to do with this movie. I don't know if he was just a producer or a writer, but Walter Hill, he got to start with John Carpenter. John Carpenter's first ever movie Walter Hill worked on, and he also was one of many big Hollywood producers to start the series Tales from the Crypt, along with like Robert Zemeckis and Richard Donner. I'm forgetting the most notable thing about Walter Hill. Excuse me. He directed The Warriors, which came out the same year as this.
Oh, okay. Going back to this sex thing, I think it was maybe Dan O'Bannon's idea. Ridley Scott liked it, and they were just going to have like lots of banging in the movie. But then after like talking to the actors, they were kind of like, not only are we not really super comfortable with this, but we also don't know where it would fit into the movie.
I'm sure at some point it came up that there were 2 women and 4 men also.
Yeah, and also...
and a robot.
Ridley Scott was still thinking about this idea, because I'm pretty sure it's in either the end of Prometheus. Yeah, it's in the end of Prometheus.
Oh no, Alien Covenant, they're fucking in the shower.
Yeah, that's it. So Ridley Scott, fucking 40 years later...
Was that a scene written for Alien? Because
I don't know if it was...
That's the worst scene in the entire series, probably.
I know. I don't know if it was actually written for Alien, but that scene came out of him still thinking about people supposed to be banging all the time when they're on a spaceship with nothing else to do. So there's Ridley Scott kind of crazy number 1. Ridley Scott kind of crazy number 2 doesn't really have anything to do with this utopian society, but I got this fun general trivia. That giant dead body in the downed ship on the planet, which they call the space jockey, it was designed and painted by, as you pointed out, H.R. What's his name? Geiger?
Geiger? No, Geiger, I think.
Geiger.
But let's go with Geiger. It sounds better.
This fella, he was disappointed, apparently, that he couldn't put any finishing touches on it, because by the time filming commenced, by the time filming came for this scene, he just didn't have any time, and it was either destroyed right after or partially destroyed before they filmed it by a lit cigarette that was left on the sculpture. And I can only assume that was Ridley Scott by accident. And
Ridley Scott burnt down Notre Dame Cathedral, confirmed.
Yeah. There was this conceptual artist who's worked on the movie, Ron Cobb, and when Ridley Scott had apparently... This isn't about Ridley Scott being crazy, it's just a neat piece of trivia. 20th Century Fox almost didn't allow this space jockey thing to be in the movie, because apparently at the time props for movies like this weren't like these huge, ginormous things. They weren't so large scale, I guess, and it would only be used for one scene. But this conceptual artist, Ron Cobb, convinced 20th Century Fox to leave the scene in the movie because it would show the audience that this wasn't just some low-budget B movie. So back to Ridley Scott being crazy. Crazy with Blade Runner, crazy with that unicorn shit. This movie, at the end, when Ridley is in... when Ripley is in the spacesuit closet in that escape pod, and she's putting the suit on?
Yeah.
Originally, Ridley Scott wanted the scene to be that the alien comes out of its little hidey hole and goes over to the window and starts looking through the window at Ripley's body, and then the alien was going to start touching itself.
No.
And it's supposed to
I
be
don't
this
believe
weird,
this.
Yeah, no, seriously. And it's supposed to be this weird sexual tension.
No.
That the alien was like comparing its body to Ripley's body, but then one of the writers jumped in and was like, "Ridley, we can't do this." He's like, "Okay, you're right."
Even for Sigourney Weaver's sake, like no actress deserves that.
I know,
and the
know,
poor guy,
think...
whoever he is, whatever his name is, the poor guy in the xenomorph suit sure as hell doesn't deserve that.
I know. But yeah, I just think Ridley Scott is fucking nuts. And it also doesn't help that people carry this weird sexually suggestive stuff through when they talk about Alien. Like, I was reading a bunch of stuff earlier, how people are comparing the facehugger's attack on Kane to like male rape, and the chestbuster scene to a form of violent birth, and that the alien is this phallic looking thing with its
the
head,
chestburster is
head,
definitely phallic. I don't know about the xenomorph so much, but the chestburster for sure.
Yes, it does look like a penis with a mouth. It's supposed to be a form of violent birth, and it's the whole chest bursting stuff, face hugger, egg laying thing. Xenomorph are supposed to make men uncomfortable because the xenomorph is apparently supposed to be like androgynous. It looks feminine but also masculine with its giant penis head.
How many animals do you look at and be like, "Wow, that is a feminine animal," or "That is a..." because that's what the xenomorph is. I don't look at an ant and be like, "Oh, that's male."
Like a big penis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm more uncomfortable just with the. I mean, the chest burster stuff's great. Let's be honest, but like what's more uncomfortable to me is just Ridley Scott in general. I actually had a good friend in high school who swore she never wanted to get pregnant specifically because of this movie and the chest burster scene. And it's like, okay.
Oh my god.
Hopefully she doesn't still carry that with her, but maybe she does. I don't know. To my knowledge, she has not given birth.
You should ask her if she's still afraid.
No, we're not talking anymore. Thank you. It's a sore subject.
Oh no.
Because I made her read Ridley Scott interviews with me once.